So, yes, if anybody hasn't been made aware of it at this point, I don't know how, but GTA 6 early build videos have been released. I haven't actually watched them all. I've barely watched most of them, to be honest. But obviously, I'm not going to be showing any of them. But I tweeted out about it as my initial thoughts were one of like being a little deflated, not because of the content of the videos themselves, but more because this really isn't how I wanted to learn about GTA 6. I said, can't help but feel a little sad after all the GTA 6 leaks. Seeing an old development build that's clearly far from finished has taken some of the excitement out of seeing the game for the first time. I know we're all craving for info, but nobody wins in this situation. The best feeling I can equate it to is like watching a trailer for a movie that you were always going to see anyway, and the trailer uses something as a selling point that would have otherwise been a nice surprise when watching for the first time. It's just deflating. And that's kind of how I feel about the fact that these leaks have happened. It doesn't seem like it's a popular train of thought. Most people seem to be happy that they're seeing something. Yeah, like finding your Christmas presents a week before Christmas. Like, you're ruining the surprise a little bit. Or, I didn't want to be introduced to the new characters of GTA like this. I didn't want to see parts of the game like this for the first time. But, it is here. The leaker, I believe, yes, is trying to sort of blackmail Rockstar to work out a deal, and so not to leak, because supposedly the hacker has like source code for GTA 6 and GTA 5. It could get really, really bad, supposedly. But obviously we've only seen so far, only things have been released of these like early dev videos that are in like pre-alpha early build stage, but it is the game. We know more now than what we did. So to me it just feels a little deflating, honestly. This is the and I feel for the developers, honestly. Like, I don't really care less about the executives at Take-Two and Rockstar, but the developers who've been putting their heart and soul into all of this stuff, the fact that this is how they've had their work put out there for the first time, it's a shame for them, and I feel for them more than anything else. Despite what I've said, those are my thoughts on the leak itself, on the fact that the leak has happened. I'm not particularly happy about it. I would rather it hadn't happened. It's kind of ruined the surprise and the build up and the excitement, like getting your Christmas presents early. But nevertheless, it has happened, so we might as well talk a little bit about what we've seen. And Nos wanted to come on and chat about it as well, so we'll jump in and talk to him. Hello? Wait, why am I not?
Hello, sir.
Oh, hang on.
I can hear your noises and my voice through your Discord.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Hello.
All right.
Welcome to your own Discord.
Welcome to my own stream. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm the exact opposite of you. I'm about to hype out big time. Okay.
Oh, really? The thing is that is what I've noticed. A lot of people have been responding to my tweet with, like, they are happier to know about this stuff now and have seen this stuff. Like, it's more, it's making them more excited, which hasn't done it for me yet. But to be fair, I will preface all this by saying I haven't actually watched all of the videos yet. I've watched like 4 or 5.
Well, I've basically sped through the whole hour of footage, so hopefully we can talk about it. Maybe I can bring you more towards my side.
Yeah, maybe.
Now,
but also, let's say that like we are going to talk about it in more depth, probably on the podcast in 2 weeks' time.
That is true. So,
but this is our like instant early thoughts. Yeah.
So now I'm not going to touch the context of the leak with like a 10-foot pole, okay? Like the whole ransoming and why it's here, yada yada, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm not touching that
We'll
because
probably talk about that on the podcast as
yeah,
well, especially
well,
because there'll be more
yeah,
fallout at that point, I imagine.
yeah. But what I want to talk about is like the gameplay and what I take away from the gameplay, and um, and also just to preface that, like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the people who've shared similar takes with you, like, think somehow this is, I don't know, like embarrassing for the developers or something, right? Like,
I
obviously, it's
don't
not.
feel that necessarily.
Well, it just seems like there's a general kind of opinion of like, oh, this is a shame that this is the state we're seeing it in. It's like this is a pretty freaking good state. Just like this,
Yeah,
like if
no,
Rockstar
it's not
was
not
as go
not
ahead.
necessarily from like the quality of, like I said, it's not the quality of the stuff that's in there, but the way that it's presented with all these like UI things, the dev debug things on top of everything, and it's not in any way trying to
What is
present things in
scumbag?
a way that is exciting. It's
Yeah,
just a
well,
lot of people testing the game.
and that's what I like personally. Like if Rockstar and game companies in general were as transparent as I wanted them to be, like this is the footage that I would be wanting to see,
Okay,
right?
interesting.
Because I as someone who's become so disillusioned with the presentation, right, of
That's
video
fair.
games, like it always seems to lead you to believe it's bigger than it's not, right? I mean,
That's fair.
I mean, there's countless
Yeah.
examples of this throughout gaming. I'm not gonna waste my time listing
E3
them all.
trailers are like notorious for just being a
Yeah,
completely different experience to what the game turned out to be.
yeah, like the only way that this could be better is if the lead developer for this game was sitting here and talking to you about the direction. Like that's the pre-game content, like the pre-release content that I want to see,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
this is pretty damn close to exactly what I would want to see. And
You would want to
obviously
see
we
this, but with some dev commentary as well.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
And what you can from my takeaway from this game or from the gameplay that I've seen is that this game like physical and like artistic aspirations are exactly what I wanted them to be and almost exactly what I thought GTA 5 might be. Honestly. Like it seems like they have really in terms of physics and everything, it seems like they've really learned how much people liked Red Dead 2's like gunplay and physics and stuff like
Mm,
that and have incorporated that to make a more authentic like setting for GTA, right? So it's almost like I don't know, I feel like it's some kind of middle ground between the aesthetics and purposes of GTA 4 and GTA 5, right?
funny you should say
Um
that, because one of the clips I saw was of a picador driving, and it looked exactly like my thought was this is exactly in the middle between GTA 4 and GTA 5 in terms of driving physics.
yeah.
Like it
Well,
seems
and
like they're
I
maybe going between the two, which I think is a great strategy.
Yeah. Well, what excites me most is like just kind of the theming of the authenticity of the gameplay. Like it seems like they've went for the Red Dead Redemption 2 style like weapon wheel and weapons like system, you
Mm.
know? Like you'll have two weapons on your back and a handgun, it seems, and then
Yeah,
other
yeah, yeah, I
like
heard that.
throwables and stuff. So like there's
Infinite
no rocket
weapons.
launcher coming out of your ass,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So and in terms of like the little bit of gameplay and theming that they shown, like this is what I've always wanted to do in a GTA. I didn't want to infiltrate a government toxin facility and steal a bioweapon in Grand Theft Auto, right? I
Yeah.
wanted to rob a Waffle House.
Yeah,
And
yeah, 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 yeah. That was
I
very
got to
Pulp
see
Fiction-y.
yes, exactly. That's the exact thought that I had. Um, like this is what I've always wanted to do in GTA is to rob a Waffle House or some other small establishment and make a getaway, right?
Yeah.
Not the wacky zany things that
That's why I like GTA 4 so much. Like it felt a very grounded experience. Like I know we went from San Andreas, which was kind of wacky and crazy with all these things you could do, to the opposite end of it with GTA 4. But I liked that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even like I I don't know. It's just this seems exactly the direction that I wanted it to go. And I'm pretty excited for the two characters too. Like they both look good in my opinion. Like we knew that they existed already from like other stuff and leaks. And did Rockstar announce themselves like who the main characters
No, there was
are
an
going to be?
article that by a respected journalist in gaming, I think it was, that basically said it's going to be in Vice City, modern day Miami, with the couple who are male and female, two playable. So I guess we kind of knew that, but like for me, I didn't want to be really introduced to the characters in this way. I would have liked to have actually had some. I feel like I don't really. Again, I haven't watched all the videos, to be fair, but I want to know. Like the characters don't really do it for me right now. I want more background to them, who they are, how they are.
Of course. Yeah, well, I want that too. But I'm talking about the aesthetics of the character models here. Like, I'm not talking about their personality, their actions, or whatever. It's just like, like I'm excited because you have Bland White Man, which is perfect for me. They're my favorite. Bland White Men are my favorite. And then the female character also looks really good. And like I'm excited to see what kind of customization options we'll have for both of these characters, right? Like I'm not excited for the characters. I guess I'm excited for the canvas that the characters are going to provide for customization, if that makes any sense, you know?
And how
like,
they could like grow through the story and
well, I'm not even going that deep, honestly. No? Like I'm staying like surface level right now in terms of like clothing and, like just the aesthetics and the authentic feel.
Yeah.
Like I mean take Trevor for instance, right? Like there could have been a possibility where the character that you were going to play in this game would have been offensively outlandish and ridiculous, right? But obviously by this gameplay we've seen that like their aesthetic style is not that, right?
Yeah.
And I would have been disappointed if the aesthetic styles of the character was like woman looks normal and guy looks crazy. Does that make any sense? Like that would have been a big disappointment to me. So
they seem fairly low key, for want of a better word, like normal characters so far. Like just any other people on the street in modern day Miami, really.
Yeah,
which in one way is a good thing, I suppose. Maybe they don't stand out to me, at least right now. Like when looking back at old characters, I mean the three main protagonists. I think Trevor was the most interesting, but in GTA 5, the three main ones are kind of all right, but nothing special. But Nico,
I mean, I'm not saying
Tommy Vercetti, like those classic characters, these new ones don't seem to speak to me like that. But again, this is why I feel like I need their backstories. I need the how they act, who they are.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I'm, like I said, I'm not really attacking it from that kind of level because we don't have that information. I'm excited to get that later too. Like I guess that's the stuff that I want to be presented and embellished through like cool trailers, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want a dev to sit and talk to me and read off a summary of a character, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of gameplay, that is the content that I'm looking for because you can't mislead. I mean, you can mislead people with it, but it's a lot harder, and you get a more realistic idea of the direction that the game is going, like artistically and functionally, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't know, man. Like this is the exact direction that I hoped the game would go in terms of physics and the weapons you carry and everything. And it's funny that you mentioned that the characters just look like any other NPCs because that's like the impression I got too. Like if you look at GTA 5 for instance, and to a much lesser degree Red Dead 2, like you can tell the difference between the main character in the NPC, right? Like
Yeah.
if you were in a free cam and you had to figure out which character was the main character, like you'd be able to do it pretty easily in GTA 5. They move different and they look completely different and everything like that. But this game, like, it looks like, you're playing just a person.
Yeah.
Like that's at least the impression I got from the little bit of gameplay and stuff that I've seen, and that's what I've always wanted. I've just wanted a more grounded and authentic experience from GTA. Um,
It seems like the sort of. I mean, I know I've said this in the past, and I know this is something that they always do, but like they've looked back at their other recent games, even probably back to like Red Dead 1, Red Dead 2, obviously, GTA 4, GTA 5, and picked out all the best bits that work and tried to like find a middle ground between them. Like you say, with the weapons being more Red Dead like, with the you can only have the weapons on you that you can carry, and the car physics and gunplay seems to be more in between a GTA 4 and a GTA 5, and that's a good sign, I think, rather than just starting completely from scratch and doing something completely different again, or just taking 5 and adding on to that.
mhm. Correct. See, I think a lot of people would, or Voodoo in the chat, like I think you're where I want GTA to be outlandish is like in the characters and the tropes and the advertising and the world building, but not necessarily in the gameplay, because like in GTA 5 single player, I feel like a superhero, right? Like you are a superhero, basically. Like you're damn near invincible in
Yeah,
GTA
all
5
the
single
powers
player.
that they had and stuff never
And
really
just like
hit
their
with me.
large health pool, and that they have, you can hold 9,000 rounds of ammo and carry one of every single weapon in the game. Like you're basically a superhero. And to me, that kind of gameplay is boring. Like, and even in Red Dead 2, you feel somewhat like that, which is why I've, essentially made the game much harder, because that's kind of what I'm looking for. And I don't think this game will be any harder than GTA 5, obviously, but at least you know,
The feel of it is more grounded.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say so. There might be more planning you have to do to attack a situation or a mission. You might have to decide what weapons you carry or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's
so
true. I like the sound of that too. Um, it I think that something else that is intriguing to me is the choice of like modern day Vice City. I'm kind of hesitant about it because Vice City will always be like synonymous with the game Vice City, and it's just perfect with that 80s feel, and
mhm.
it's going to be strange going there like in a modern day setting. Honestly, I would have preferred any of the other cities.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think to I don't know.
But
I
to be
don't
fair, I don't
mind.
know much about like Florida in the US. I don't know much about Miami. I've never thought of Miami as a particularly interesting place to go in real life, so I don't know.
Well, I would say that Florida is like a very interesting uh like place to be for like a game, right? Like not only do you have Miami, which is what everyone's going to focus on, which is the actual Vice City. And I think the Vice City will probably be like I mean, in modern day, like American metropolitan areas are kind of all
All
the
the same
same
sort of stuff. Yeah, I
canvases,
think that's why I would prefer it to just be in any other city, not to like touch anything to do with Vice City. And Vice City is always going to be that 80s game, but that was never
Yeah.
going to happen.
Well, I mean, if I had to guess what direction they'll go for the city's presentation, I would probably guess that they're going to go for some kind of city like clinging to the past, maybe. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Whereas like Los Santos is like pushing for the future, and everyone's yada yada
yeah,
yada.
yeah, yeah.
Like it would be one clinging to its past. Um, and like you've got a lot of different areas other than that. Like you'll have the Everglades, I'm sure, because in the leaked footage there's an airboat, like a boat with a big fan on the back.
Okay.
um so I'm sure that there will be some degree of the Everglades. um And the setting of Vice City will allow for a lot more color too than Los Santos and
Yeah.
most other cities that they could have gone with. Like I'm looking at a screen from the game now of like one of the little shootouts and whatever.
Triple
And like the
scumbag!
side of the building is like pink and white, and then there's other buildings across the way that are still all kinds of neon colors. And I think it's going to be a really good aesthetic and setting for the game that I'm pretty excited for.
And then there's also that aspect that supposedly, as the game is, kind of codenamed Americas, they're gonna add cities on over the years, and that is exciting to me. Like that's what I've
Yeah.
always wanted a GTA to be, having Los Santos, San Fierro, Las Venturas, Liberty City from GTA 4, Vice City from this one now, even cities in Mexico or something like that, where you can go from one to another. That's what I think would make the perfect GTA, and that seems like what they're planning.
Yeah, and I mean, and like I said, that wasn't shown in the leak, so like
No. That's just
I
rumors from the article that we mentioned before.
Yeah, but like, I guess what the key thing that this gameplay and the leak has like shown me, is like before I saw this, like no one really knew what direction the game was going to go in terms of gameplay, right?
Yeah.
Like we kind of had
We were all in the
suspicions of the
dark.
direction it'll go with the story and with the world, and we can infer the direction it'll go with like world building based on the previous GTAs. I'm sure it'll be a satire of yada yada blah blah blah. But
What a
like
scumbag!
nothing other than something like this and playing the game yourself could confirm what direction that the game's going to go gameplay wise. And the gameplay wise is like the most important thing to me, because like that's what I'm going to spend the most time doing. I'm not going to like, you can only experience the story once. Like, but the gameplay is going to be what I'm possibly going to be playing for thousands of hours if the game is that point. So this gameplay has shown me that like the direction that they're going with it is like one which I'm excited for. And I don't have to spend my entire time waiting for this game, like being like, oh, everything sounds good, but you don't, like, what are they gonna do with this?
It's giving you the confirmation that you're almost certainly going to be happy to some degree when it comes out, rather than completely disappointed like it could often be with plenty of other games.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like this bit of video gameplay has like given me permission to be excited.
Right, I see.
Right?
Yeah, that makes
like,
sense.
not like over the moon, like this is going to be the best game of all time. It's just that like I feel like the mental image that the devs and the people designing this game have are very close to the mental image that I have that I would want for the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then that gives me the opportunity to be like, oh, well, like these things match up. That's good. So now I can like get a little excited about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I understand that point of view. I can understand that.
That this game is not going to be delayed by a leak, people. Like that's not real. That's
well,
not
if
real.
the source code gets leaked.
Well, okay, sure. But even if it does, I don't care. I don't care how long this game takes. I really don't. But
yeah, we're still many years off, by the way, everybody. Like we're nowhere close to seeing this game.
Yes, I mean, it really doesn't matter to me if it gets delayed or whatever. I have more time to work on it. Like I give this game to me in 10 years and have it be the one game I'll play for eternity. Like that sounds fine.
Yeah. It's got we add a new city every year, and we just keep playing it forever.
Yeah, and also it's like Rockstar's never made a deadline ever. Like Hammer does have a very good point. So
yeah, they never put a deadline on anyway.
Yeah, so it just I don't know. It's like I said. I mean, this isn't the format that I would have liked to gotten this information, but it's very close. It's very close to like, as someone who likes video games, this is the type of content that I would want to see.
Yeah.
Like, shoot, what?
I mean, that makes sense to me, and I can understand people's point of view on that now. I think my judgment is a little bit clouded with the initial like deflation of this being my first taste of GTA 6. I didn't really want that. Like, if we'd had a teaser trailer and then we got all this, I would be feeling a lot better. I didn't want this to be the absolute very first thing that I saw.
Yeah, and
But-
I can understand that too, for
But
sure.
also, I think when I look at the videos probably more and actually, think about it in the way that you've said, like how it actually is, and I'll probably start to be like, yeah, this does look pretty good, and then I'll probably get over that initial deflation and be like, all right, yeah, this is good. It's just, yeah, it since it's day one, it happened like today. That initial deflation of that is the first experience of this game I got. It's still fresh in my brain.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I've kind of done here is like I have my excitement for the gameplay and my excitement for the characters in the world and the story and my first
What a
experience
scumbag.
are kind of separate, right?
Yeah.
Like my excitement for the first experience and story and world and everything is still like kind of untouched because I haven't really gotten any data on that, right?
Yeah.
But my excitement for the gameplay portion of where this game seems to be going is very exciting because it's in line with what I would have like the kind of image that I would have wanted from the game. Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense. I understand that. All right. Well,
So yeah, I think that's it. Hopefully, I provided a decent.
I appreciate your viewpoint,
juxtaposition.
actually. Yeah, because it has given me a different impression and more of an understanding on how probably it seems like the majority of people are feeling. And I think
Yeah.
I probably will get to that point after the initial deflation is left.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah,
and just to like, I just wanted to recap for anyone who's joining. Like again, I'm just expressing my views over the gameplay, not over the leak and the efficacy of the leak or the timing of the leak. Like, I agree with you too that I would have preferred to see probably something polished and then this, right?
Yeah.
Like that probably would have been pretty cool because it would have been like, I think either way, like. I don't know. It works out better for me this way, but I can see as why it would be better to have like a trailer and some real stuff.
a
before you see
trailer
something
or a
like
teaser,
this.
even just a teaser, just any, like the first like a 15-second teaser that shows a little bit of Miami, a little bit of a character or something, just so that is like the first thing I see, and then this comes. I think I would have been able to cope with it a bit better.
Yeah, I just like I said, I think I think that my assessment of this is like this gameplay has given me permission to be excited.
Yeah.
And that's my takeaway from it.
That makes sense. Cool. Well, we will talk about it more on the podcast. If you've never seen the
Yes.
podcast, for those of you who are here, next Saturday, not next Saturday, 2 Saturdays from now will be the next episode. I'm sure we'll talk about this in more detail with the other two. We'll talk about the fallout from this, which we will have had by then, all that kind of stuff. So tune in to the podcast on this Twitch channel. I don't know. I might put up this highlight, this little video. I might put it up as on the podcast channel as a little highlight. Broughy and Nos talk about GTA 6 leaks. But yeah, I'd better get started on actually doing the thing that I need to do and was going to plan to do.
Yes. Well,
for the
thank you
rest of the stream.
thanks for chatting with me. It was fun.
Thanks for coming on and giving me your thoughts. It's nice
Of
to
course.
be able to talk to someone else about it rather than just be here on my own.
Yes. Yeah. I figured because hopefully I've at least improved the mood a little bit. You know, like
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I feel like I'm more. There's more within me now to be able to actually go look at the gameplay more and see it for what it is, rather than have that disappointment initially. Like I can separate them a bit better now, I reckon. All right.
Well, thank you. See ya.
See you then, Nos.